The former president of the United States went directly after you. I want to get your reaction. Let's listen together.
Some of you may not remember, but Herschel Walker was a heck of a football player. But here's the question. Does that make him the best person to represent you in the U.S. Senate? Does that make him equipped to weigh in on the critical decisions about our economy and our foreign policy and our future?
So anyone else called you a celebrity? What's your reaction to him going after you? Have you ever met him before?
I've never met him before, and if I'm a celebrity, I would have met him because all he did was hang out with celebrities, and he forgot to tell people I created one of the largest minority-owned food service companies in the United States of America. So I do sign the front of a check, which he's probably never done, and except when he was in the White House, and then Senator Warnock has never done either. So I've created businesses. I sit on a public traded board, so those are things I've done outside of football. But my resume against his resume, I put it up any time of the day, and I think I've done well.
Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker this week, during an appearance on Fox News, issued one of the most idiotic challenges to former President Barack Obama that I think I've ever seen in my life. Here's a little bit of backstory. This past weekend, of course, Barack Obama headed over to Georgia, did some campaign rallies, trying to get some Democrats energized, and of course he took a swipe at Herschel Walker when he said, quote, "In college, Mr. Walker was amazing, one of the best running backs of all time, but here is the question. Does that make him the best person to represent you in the U.S. Senate? Does that make him equipped to weigh in on the critical decisions about our economy and our foreign policy and our future? There is very little evidence that he has taken any interest, bothered to learn anything about, or displayed any kind of inclination towards public service or volunteer work or helping people in any way." Very spot-on critique by Barack Obama. I agree with every bit of it. So Herschel Walker, of course, was given the opportunity to come on Fox News, the most watched cable news network in the country, to refute what Obama said. And so here is what Herschel Walker had to say. "I never met Mr. Obama before, and if I'm a celebrity, I would have met him because all he did was hang out with celebrities. He forgot to tell people I created one of the largest minority-owned food service companies in the U.S., so I do sign the front of a check, which he's probably never done except when he was in the White House, and that Senator Raphael Warnock has never done either." Let's get one thing straight before I continue here. That is not true about your business. So, just so everybody knows, you're lying about the size, you're lying about the scope, as you have with all of your other businesses. But he continues, and here's where the challenge comes. "So I created businesses. I sit on a publicly traded board, so those are things I've done outside of football. But my resume against his resume, I'd put it up any time of the day, and I think I've done well. One of the things I'd say to the people is that Mr. Obama is not in Georgia voting." Okay? I mean, that part's not untrue, but it's also not relevant to anything. So you're like, "I created a business. I sat on the board of a company. Therefore, I will put my resume against Barack Obama's. The man who was the first black president in the history of the United States. So far, the only black president in the history of the United States. And he won 2 elections. And he didn't win 2 close elections. Both of Barack Obama's victories were massive victories, right? There was no question about it. One of the biggest runaways we have seen in presidential elections in the last 23 years. Actually, no, in the last 35 years. So I'd say that alone puts him above you. I started a company. Look, dude, I've technically started a company. It's fairly successful, right? But that doesn't mean I'm qualified to be president. You know, the pizza parlor owner down the street, they started a business. They can be damn successful. But does that mean that that qualifies them to be president? No. And I am sick and damn tired of hearing Republicans say, like, we got to run government like a business. Trump did that. It didn't work for anybody except for Donald Trump himself because he ran it like one of his businesses so he could get all the profits. Mitt Romney campaigned on that and it didn't go well either. Obama, just for the record on his resume, also has a Nobel Prize. Do you got one of those, Herschel? Oh, you got a Heisman, sure. But not a Nobel. So, The bottom line is this. Herschel Walker has lied about pretty much every aspect of his history. And the things he didn't lie about, he tried to completely hide from the public. His resume is nowhere near as impressive as Barack Obama's, but Obama's not on the ballot in Georgia, and Herschel Walker is. And that's, I think, the point he was trying to get at the end there. And let's just hope that the people of Georgia have enough good sense to listen to Obama with the better resume, rather than the former football player Herschel Walker. Today's video is sponsored by Guardio, a security extension that lives on your browser, making sure you and your information are fully protected online. The web is littered in threats, so digital protection is absolutely crucial. Guardio actually safeguards your data, warns you when you're about to open suspicious sites, stops malware and shady pop-ups, blocks phishing attacks. The list goes on and on. So if you're living your life online, like most of us do, you need to be aware of these threats and how to properly avoid getting into online trouble. For example, did you know that phishing and other scam sites can trick you into giving away personal information or gain access to your device? And these sites are everywhere. Whenever you click on unknown links in emails, social media scams, pop-ups, and ads, you're at risk. And although hackers do an awesome job in disguising these sites to look legitimate, Guardio does a better job in calling them out. Also, did you know that when a data breach happens to a platform or website containing your details, they might end up being sold on the dark web? Yes, these things happen all the time, and Guardio prevents them, making sure you and your family are fully protected when opening that new tab. Guardio does this in the background, striking into action only when danger is detected. And you can start Guardio's free 7-day trial and get real-time alerts, suggestions, and fixes, and browse the web stress-free. One account covers 4 additional family members, so you know your home and devices are safe and secured. Run Guardio's speedy safety check totally free and see where you're at and what are your security blind spots. It only takes a second and you get so much out of it. Go to guard.io/ROF. The link is in the description below.